Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the Cryptids, Anomalies, and Paranormal Societies podcast. I'm your host, Barnaby, alongside Ethan. How you doing tonight?
How's it going? Good.
Good. And we got Luke with us again. How you doing, Luke?
I'm doing very well.
Good. So, Luke, how was your first investigation with us out in Burlington?
It was interesting. We heard what we cannot describe in what way they appeared on video again, but that was really the amazing part.
Yeah, the
Like an ear sword, or only deeper and longer.
Yeah, it was a weird, like, rubbing kind of sound. I don't know, like a grinding to me, but it definitely could have been like an animal. We looked at the GPS and there's no houses or anything over in that area, so it definitely had to be something more natural. But all right, take it away.
Take it away.
Yeah.
How's the Paulding light for you?
The Paulding light. Yep. Well, as you know, like, the episode just dropped on that, so that's up for everyone to watch right now, and that's on YouTube and that. So me and Ethan, we both went up there, and we go out there as you see in the episode, and Ethan takes his car and goes out to the other end and tries to reenact it. But I think, well, let's talk about the Paulding light. I mean, Ethan, we were unsuccessful in recreating it.
Yeah, we didn't make that happen.
No. We attempted. You know, you went out there and drove around for a couple hours, actually, and when we got there, the Paulding light's there. You know, you can definitely see it. Quite brightly, quite brilliantly, there is a light that comes up over the horizon and shines across there, and you can see it. Everybody there, you know, that came out that night saw it.
So you don't believe that the cars or the lights you see are the cars on the highway many miles distant?
I in fact do believe that. You know, in the episode, there's a trail that goes down towards the light, and me, Ethan, and Kayla took this trail and walked as far out on that as we could. And then Ethan comes back and tries to drive it backwards towards us. But that is not where this light is supposed to have come from, the car headlights.
Yeah, you have to be a lot farther back on a different road.
Yeah, you were out on the snowmobile trail.
Yep.
Yeah. And that is not Old 45. New 45. I'm sorry, that is Old 45 that you were on. But New 45 is supposedly where the traffic is creating these lights. And we've done some research and looking into what Michigan Tech students did. Is they went out there with telescopes and tried to pinpoint the exact location on that during the day, and they find a adopt a highway sign right by where the Paulding light is supposed to be during the day.
Okay.
And they were able to pinpoint the exact location on
in a quarter mile,
New
turn
45
right onto I-43
where
to Milwaukee.
where you need to go to recreate the light. And Ethan just wasn't out that far at the time.
No.
But well, let's look at it this way: is maybe the traffic lights are not
Turn
what's
right
causing
onto the I-43 North Ramp.
or they could be what is. But the thing for me that stood out that it is traffic lights is the fact that when you and Kayla are down that trail,
I-43
we
North.
see it coming up. You see a glow on your screen, and it disappears from our line of sight, but you still see it.
Yeah.
In your cameras. And that your cameras are pointed directly down the road from New 45. So the light that we're seeing turned out to be car lights to you. So I guess there's not a doubt in my mind that the Paulding light, 99% sure is just headlights.
When I was out there 4 or 5 years ago, the light was shining brightly enough that it illuminated the car leaves behind us. How do you explain that being traffic lights?
It illuminated the
Police behind us. Behind us.
Well, with the right, so when we were out there, we had every kind of weather you could ask for in one night. It was crystal clear sky. You could see more stars than I've ever seen in my life. And then it poured.
Yep. We got soaked.
We got drenched. And, it was foggy. It was overcast. We went through everything while we were out there. And during the course of watching the light, you can see it come up as a glow and then become a light and then disappear again, which would be indicative of a light coming over the horizon, glowing, and then going away. But there are reports. I know somebody personally that walked part of the trail that we were on that had a glowing orb of light chase them. Now I can't explain that, and I can't explain because obviously I wasn't there the night that you were there, so I can't explain what you saw.
And bottom line is even if it is just car lights, it's still interesting to go see. It's still worth the drive up there because it's something you're not going to see anywhere else, no matter what's causing it.
By far to date, that has to be one of my favorite investigations.
Oh, it was absolutely a great time.
Oh man,
It may have been like the least exciting outcome, but it was a very good time.
yes. When we got there, there had to have been 20 to 50 people there before Ethan even showed up.
Yeah, because when I got there, it was only kids who were sitting in their car drinking.
Yep, yeah, that wasn't fun. But a few bad apples will spoil the bunch, But when we were there, on the video you see we interview a lot of people standing there, have you ever seen anything and stuff like that. And it was a good time. Everyone was friendly and having a good time. And people came and went. And then, when Ethan leaves, when we're coming up out of the swamp, with our just soaking wet, scare the crap out of this, a guy and lady because they don't expect anybody coming up out of pitch black. And we're coming up out of there, and you and Kayla took off in the car.
Yep.
And me and Ma were sitting there to watch, and people just started showing up because they were interested in, what are you doing here, and stuff. And it became really a fun, interactive experience over there because, hey, can you see it? Yeah, we can see it. Oh, there it is, And there's one spot on there with the whole group that's there just gets so excited and cheers when this light, Ethan, all right, is that you? Yeah. All right, we think we see you. All right, turn off your lights. Off. And it got brighter, and everyone there just went, oh! Yeah, it was definitely a fun experience up there.
Yeah, so no matter what, it's worth going.
Definitely, yeah.
So, how many colors did you see while you were there?
Pretty much clear and red.
Yeah, I would say white, yellow, red. Yeah.
Okay, so you saw it from red singles I did. The yellow appeared greenish green to me. How do you explain that? If there were traffic lights, where did the green come from?
Well, it could be atmosphere. If there's a little bit of mist or something in the air that's reflecting the light, or it could have changed color. And you got purple headlights. If you look at cars nowadays, you got all different colors of, you got yellow, you got white, you got gold, amber. You could have a green. I know people have talked about how they've seen red and blue lights, which would be cop colors. So you have that kind of stuff. So it's not out of the spectrum of light. And the other thing is when you're looking that far away, your eyes can play tricks on you. Maybe it's reflecting off the trees and creating it a greenish tinge or something, maybe. had a long day. He's tired.
Yep, I am tired.
I'm tired.
Oh, I am.
Ethan's
yeah.
tired. Ethan's yawning. You have anything to add to that, Ethan?
Not much. You kind of nailed that one.
Well, Monster Quest went out there to try to explain it, and they didn't decide point blank it was not cars on the highway. I can't remember how they came up with that, but
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was Brad Meltzer's Decoded. Brad sent his whole team out there, and they did the same thing. They went up on the ridge. They tried to recreate it. They drove up and down. They've had like helicopters and stuff, and searchlights out there, and there has been people that couldn't recreate it. And for one, we couldn't recreate it that night. So I would think it's just, based on the fact that we couldn't recreate it, I can't tell you that's headlights.
Yeah, it's just that's what we're leading towards. Because that, at this point, it makes the most sense.
I can hear that.
Because at this point, it makes the most sense.
Yeah,
We definitely want to go back up there and check it out again.
I would like to go with you.
Yep. That is a long drive for us.
It is.
Yeah, that was like a 3-4 hour trip for us up there.
With the van.
Oh, I don't know if I'm taking the van back up there.
Well, see, the bad part about that one is you have to take 2 cars no matter what.
Yep. You can't test it when you only have one vehicle. Well, you could leave someone there.
Yeah, we don't want to do that either.
If it's a nice night.
Yeah, it's a nice night.
Yeah. I wouldn't have minded if you left us there last night. We had people, we had fun, it was a good time. What I would like to talk about though, Ethan, is what happened was Ma stayed up on the ridge, or the end of the road there, to watch the Paulding light. She had a camera, she had a walkie, and she had night vision, all that stuff up there. She had the night vision binoculars. And me, Kayla, and Ethan take the trail and head straight out. Well, we got about, I can't remember the exact distances and stuff now, but it's on the episode you can watch. We get about, I think, a mile out where that snowmobile trail forks off, and our walkie started to get fuzzy. My mom at the time didn't have a cell phone. She does now, but she didn't then, so we couldn't call her. So we're like, all right, well, we're going to keep going, and, we can still hear her. We got about, I think at that point it's a mile and a half out on the trail, and we could still hear my ma on the walkies, but she couldn't hear us.
No.
So at that point, when you can't ask her, hey, can you see the light, it defeats the purpose.
But you could see it the entire time while you were walking down the trail. Or no?
It came and went, but we veered off. Because when you're seeing the Paulding light, you're looking straight down the power line cut.
Yeah.
We went off to the left of the Paulding light, down a snowmobile road, or an ATV road that happens to be there. But it was easier for us to go that way than try and go through all the long grass and stuff and go down the power line cut. So we thought we would head that way. And this is where it starts getting interesting, is Ethan and Kayla both have cell phones.
Yep.
And we all have each other's number, obviously. And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to head back to the car. And I sent Ethan and Kayla farther down the road. And on the way back, I personally felt like something was following me or watching me. But this is where I want to talk to you, Ethan, is you had a lot more interesting experience down there than even that.
Yeah, after we got to a certain distance, I just got that, dreadful feeling something isn't right, which is something that doesn't happen to me all that often. So when it does, I pay attention to it. And it was just, nope, not going any further. We're turning around and going back. So we called you, basically said, stop, we're coming. And the whole time going back, it just felt like there was something behind us.
Yeah.
But now going down in the car, because we were in the same area with the car, no issues.
Well, you're a lot more protected in the car, though, too. That's what I was kind of wondering, is because I've gone back and looked over the footage and stuff, and you never mention anything in the car ride.
Yeah.
Did you happen to notice, like, when you were in that area again or anything?
It was in the back of my mind, but it wasn't, like, paying attention to it. Because in my car, obviously, I can see a lot more with all the lights and everything I have mounted to it.
Yeah. Now, I know you hadn't get a chance to actually watch the episode yet.
No, not yet.
And you haven't seen any of the footage back. But what happens, if you don't remember quite clear, is you stop, and Kayla was saying something about something random, and you shushed her, or she asks you, like, what? And you're like, I'm just looking at something. And then you stop, shine your light to the woods a little bit, and then you go, we're not going any further. And she says, you know, like, why not? And you're like, I just have a bad feeling.
Yeah, and that's just, that dread was just there.
So what did you see something, or?
I don't remember seeing or hearing anything. I was just looking.
Okay.
But it's just that feeling just washed over, and it's like, nope, we're good.
And you don't, you know, you're probably one of the two most skeptic people on the team as far as any of this stuff goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between you and my mom. And for whenever you have a problem, it's
that's when you need to fucking listen.
Yeah. So it was weird for me to get that message to stop, because I had already made it back about a half mile at that time, and I met you back at that where we cut off to the side, and you guys just came out of there, and well, then when you guys are coming out, you and Kayla are talking, and she says, you know, it's funny because right before you said that, she thought she heard something.
Yeah, and the whole time we're coming back, we're constantly watching behind us.
It felt like being watched.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it felt like being stalked.
And this is an area, the Paulding Light is not just for people who don't know. If you look into this stuff, the Paulding Light is not just the light. There have been Bigfoot sightings up there. There have been, back in, oh crap, I can't remember the year, 1960s, there was a sight of a 6-foot-tall white rabbit. Yeah, nope, true story. Well, maybe not true story, but...
I've seen a 1-foot-tall white rabbit.
Really? 1 foot?
Got loose.
Huh.
They're big.
Yeah?
What's yours here, yeah. But 6 feet.
Yeah, 6-foot-tall white rabbit. I can't remember the year, but it's one sighting, one time. A lady was down there and she saw this 6-foot-tall white rabbit. You know, but I mean, I don't know. I've heard stories of 7-feet-tall penguins too. So
Yeah.
walking on a beach, like a sandy beach. So
It's funny you should mention that, because on the way up, taking that call with Tom Penguin along the side of the road. Both of us, I swear to God.
okay, so you have been to the Paulding Light before you joined CAPS.
When was it what?
Before you joined CAPS.
Yes.
Yep. So what was your experience like?
Well, I went with Dick, so the time was short, as it always is. We got there, it shined brightly. We stayed for about 15 minutes, I guess. And we definitely saw, like, from the light, cast on that beach behind us, which was too bright. I mean, I don't know if it did that for you, but to me it was an experience.
Yeah, I don't think we had that bright of a light. It was more like a bright star. What we did have is an ATV that blinded us when it came out of the trail. But that would have been a lot closer than the Paulding Light is.
We didn't have an ATV that night.
We did. We had one right when we started our hike out there, and then right before, Ethan was out, so. one of the stories of this place is that, well, actually a couple of them are one is an Indian is dancing on the power lines, and that's what's causing the Paulding light. One of the legends. Another legend is that there was a railroad brakeman. I always get that wrong. Yeah, there's a railroad brakeman, because this used to be a railroad tracks down in this valley. And since now the railroad tracks have been removed, but the one bridge trestle is still there, because we walked on that. But supposedly the brakeman was trying to stop a train from coming up and rear-ending it, and the train came up and killed him. And so his ghost haunts the Paulding Light area. And then there's another tale of an old grandfather or something, I believe he's a grandfather, is out looking for his grandkids. And he searches up and down the valley for them. So.
Where is this trail? You said it was left of the thing, the heating platform or whatever?
So, yeah, the Paulding Light is obviously at the end of that dead-end road there. And you have that metal guardrail.
Yeah.
If you go around the edge of that guardrail, there's a trail that literally goes
Straight down.
straight towards the Paulding Light. And it's, I believe that's either the road that they blocked off, or that's the railroad cut. So, because like I said, you get down there and there's actually a railroad trestle there. So,
And you're allowed to walk on this ATV trail?
correct, yeah, it's a walking trail. I mean, I don't see why it didn't say like no trespassing or anything. So,
Yeah, so I mean, there was no signs that you couldn't do it.
yeah,
Is this new?
No, I would say it's always been there.
yeah.
Oh.
It's really hard to see at night.
Well, Dick and I got there early in the afternoon, didn't see anything, so we decided to go back to Lake Lakes for dinner. And when we got back, we walked right up to the guardrail and we didn't see anything. Well, maybe it's missing.
Yeah, it's not like a real established trail. It's
Yeah. It starts out like a mud trail on the side, but it opens up to a gravel trail. And then it goes down far, and then it branches a little bit to the left or 90 degrees to the right on the smack chain.
Well, I volunteer to walk down the trail next time we go.
Yeah, you can. I definitely would like to go back better prepared for whatever's going to be out there. Bring EMFs and stuff and see, what Ethan stopped for,
My camcorder didn't capture much. I mean, on this screen, it's an old camcorder, but it didn't capture
In
the
2
light.
miles,
That's all it
use the
was,
left 2
light.
lanes to take
Okay,
exit
like-
61 for I-894 West, US 45 North toward Fond du Lac, Madison.
We're actually driving right now, in case you were wondering. We're driving. We're what? This is a surprise? We're actually driving right now. We're coming back from an investigation, so we like to utilize the most of our time and record our podcasts on the road. So, yeah, but you said you couldn't get it on your hand cam.
I can get it, but it's a bright light, and that's all you can see. You can see a little bit of flickering, but not to the extent that you can see it in real life.
Yeah. And same for us. Like the GoPro didn't really get it at all, and the night vision camera didn't even see it. I don't think. But our night vision binoculars is the video that we use for the most of on the episode.
Did you by chance use FLIR on it? Was it emitting heat?
We did use the FLIR on it actually, yeah, and it was too far away to get a read off of. Yeah, but yeah, we tried everything on that thing, which is a nice segue. We tried everything while we were up there, and we kind of talked about Ethan's experience there, but there's another person's experience up at the Paulding Light that I guess I'd like to talk about too. After Ethan and Kayla got back, we hung out there and we were talking to a couple of the people that were up there watching it with
Half
us.
a mile. Use the
And
left lanes to take exit 61 for IA-94 West, US 45 North toward Fond du Lac, Madison.
and we thought, we've done everything else. Let's get out the EMF meters, and do an EMF session and see if anything will communicate with us. Maybe if this is the spirit of a train conductor or something, it'll talk to us, right? So we put the EMF detector out on the guardrail, and we're standing there just talking about theories and, other locations. They were really friendly people and stuff, and because they were into like the ghost hunting stuff too and that, so they were talking to us about that. And all of a sudden, the guy looks over and he's like, "Hey, your meter just went off," and it had been dead this whole time. I mean, flat. We just left it sit there for the heck of it. Excuse me. And sure enough, it spiked all the way to red.
Really?
Just bing, real quick.
Yep.
And we're like, wow, so is there someone here with us? And it bing, all the way to red again, right on cue. And then we're like, okay, are you the train conductor? At the time is what I said, but the train brakeman or whatever that is in this area. Bing, it spiked all the way to red again. At this point, the lady that was with the guy that was talking to us, she was having none of this.
No, but she was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Really?
She turned around, and they were the ones that were they had just come from a cemetery. They were out there, they looked at the Paulding light, talked to us. They went to a cemetery for a couple hours because we were in the woods for a long time. They came back after have gone to the cemetery. I think they even went to their hotel room, after.
Yeah.
Between there, she said. And they came back to see if we were still out there, and we were, so. But as soon as that thing spiked again, she turned around and went straight to the car.
Yep, the second you gave her any actual semblance of proof, she was like, nah, I'm good.
I don't understand how people can take this and take this evidence and just cast us out like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
but the thing is we use these meters all the time. There's a general, we know what it is. I mean, there's no reason why that thing should spike to a red.
this is true, yeah. No,
Unless something's interfering with it. And there's no, there's power lines there, but it was dead. The power lines are not what was causing this, because the power lines would have spiked it to red the entire time.
Yeah.
Or a steady light. This thing is just ding, ding, right on cue when you ask the question.
And we always check everything to make sure our cell phones or any other electronics are not setting it off in any way. We always make sure we have a baseline of what is actually going on.
Yep, we have scanned all of our equipment, and all of our cell phones are either off or on airplane mode, and they do not interfere with any of our EMF testing. But as soon as that lady turned around and left, whatever was talking to us left with her.
really.
Yep, after that it's just dead.
We could not get it to interact at all with us. I have since talked to the guy about this, because he sent me a friend request and messaged me on Facebook after this, and I questioned him prior to final edit of the episode to see if we could get
Half a mile.
her encounter and like her thoughts on that to share with people. But she was sick at the time and didn't want to talk. I guess I don't understand like why that would stop her from texting.
Yeah.
But she didn't want. I guess she just wanted to talk to me about it, I guess, is what her thought was. And the episode actually has come out since then, and I haven't gotten a chance to reach back out to them and see. But I guarantee you, if I do get a follow up with her, I will share it. But she does have some stories about something that they went and they think that she picked up somewhere.
Okay.
And I guess that's all I can share or say. But yeah,
She picked up something.
yeah, that's what she believes. And she was saying that prior to that happening, So another interesting thing is while we were talking, she had gone down on the trail about 15, maybe 20 feet in, and she was just standing there by herself. Well, when she came back up, that's when it started spiking.
Okay.
And I want to point out for anybody that, like we just covered that our equipment doesn't interfere. She was not that close to the device that her cell phone or something would have been interfering.
Yeah.
And the odds of us asking a question and it spiking at just that moment, that's pretty, not...
Why did it spike the first time, you think?
To establish contact. We had asked if anyone was there.
Okay.
Like I said, we had set out the equipment, we had asked questions and stuff, and nothing was responding. So we had a camera sitting on it the whole time. So that's why we actually have it on video. But we weren't actively engaging anything at the time when it had spiked. It was probably a couple minutes after that we had stopped that we were just, chit-chatting and stuff that it actually spiked. So. And, we wrapped up the evening as, all good investigators should. We decided, while we're out here, we're going to call for Bigfoot.
And all we found was a frog.
We found a frog. But actually, that isn't all that we found. We did a whistle. We do the howls sometimes, just for the sake of doing it. But I typically like to start with whistles because they're less intrusive, I feel. Like, more people just walk around and whistle than try and howl. So if you don't want to tick off a Bigfoot, because nobody knows what this stuff means, the wood knocks, the howls, any of that stuff, so we don't want to really antagonize anything that might be out there. So we'll start with a whistle and see if anything replies. So we spread out. In the video it's kind of dark, but there was 2 cars parked nose to butt there, and I believe it was Ethan and Kayla, you guys were by yours.
Yep.
And then my mom was by the back of mine, and I was at the front of mine. And I did the whistle, and it gets severely quiet, and it sounds different. I don't want to say it got like eerie or creepy, but it was like everything just kind of got quiet all of a sudden. And my mom freaks out. She's like, I don't like it over here. I'm not standing over here anymore. And she comes back around the other side of the car towards me. And then we started hearing like rustling and branches cracking near us.
That close.
Yeah. And it had been quiet out there all this time. We're just standing out there talking. So when we say something's starting, it's not like this is happening the whole time. But it just took on a different feel after I whistled. And my mom makes some sort of comment. She's like, there's a difference between branches cracking and trees rubbing and stuff and what just happened. And you can hear it on the video, whatever's going on over there. So then, because why not? I decided we're going to try another whistle. And something whistles back. And we got that on camera too and on film. And I think that's actually the very last thing that you see on the episode is this whistle comes back. And that was pretty much the only actual... We stayed out there probably like another 10, 15 minutes after that. But we didn't have any other action that night as far as Bigfoot went. And like I said in the episode, we're not saying Bigfoot's up there. We're not saying Bigfoot was whistling at us. But you can't go to an area of activity with sightings and not exhaust every avenue.
I agree.
Yeah, especially if you've got the time, you've got the resources, you might as well. Otherwise, you're just throwing away opportunity.
So how many people normally go with you on an investigation?
Usually 3, 4. Usually 3, 4.
It depends what we're doing. Like some people don't want to do certain things. Some people want to do everything. Some people it's a matter of, like Derek, I have to go pick him up. And if he's the opposite way, like he was the night of the Paulding light, he didn't go on that investigation, And certain people just have, like limitations where they just don't want to, can't go. Like Derek has had pneumonia in the past, and we don't take him out in late fall or the winter and stuff because the cold is going to get to him and he's going to get sick. So.
Or like me, I'm not big on the paranormal stuff because so much of it to me just seems, okay, this is just a story people tell us to the other kids.
I would say thanks to YouTube has gotten rookie with the last 5 or 6 years.
Oh yeah. And you get, usually if the story is concocted with, let's say there's an event like a wedding or a birthday, and then it has the groom or the bride is involved and they die or something. Yeah, that's just something made up because it has all the things to pull at your heartstrings.
Yeah.
Now, if it's just some random guy gets hit by a car and now weird stuff is happening, I'd be a little more inclined to believe it.
Well, that's really good because we can segue into that too. Is the Paulding Light episode? We actually filmed the Paulding Light as part of the Urban Legends episode. And what happened was, after we had gone around, we probably did 15 Urban Legends.
And a good portion of the ones I was on, at least, were absolute bull.
Well, how does Paulding Light become an urban legend? How do you classify that?
Well, when we Googled Urban Legends, the Paulding Light came up, and I was like, hey, we're going to do this as part of that episode.
Okay.
It was a ghost light orb phenomenon, is basically what it boiled down
Well,
to.
it's more pushing the urban